Hey, Wealth Lab 7 users, Glitch here. Today we're going to talk about what's new in Wealth Lab 7 Build 45. Build 45, we closed 13 feature requests, so there was quite a lot of development in this build. We really got back into things after a little holiday slowdown. So to read about everything that was included in this build, check the changelog. Today we're just going to talk about one of the new things, volume profile. So if I open up a chart, here over on the right are drawing tools. We have a new drawing tool, volume profile. So if I click that, drop it on the chart, we see the volume profile properties that we can assign. So first of all, what is volume profile? It's a way to display volume bars along the right axis of the chart. And the size of these horizontal volume bars, I'll just click OK to display the volume profile here. The size of each of these horizontal bars depends on how much volume occurred within the minimum and maximum range of that bar. So if I see the properties here again, we have a look back period. So it's telling you how far back, how many bars of data this volume profile is considering when it's being built. The desired number of lines, 50. This is a guide for how many horizontal lines will appear in the volume profile. It may not wind up to be exactly 50 lines, but it'll try to get as close as it can to your desired number of volume profile lines based on the data and what a logical increment is for the source data. Next, we have a value area percentage, default of 70. So you could see how some of these bars are a little bit darker than the ones in these upper and lower outlying areas. So this darker area is the high value area, and it contains 70% of the total volume. These areas outside of the high volume area are the remaining 30% of the volume. This is configurable here. Next, horizontal coverage percent, 30. This just simply indicates how much of the entire visible chart width should be used to render the volume profile. Then we have the ability to snap the last bar of data to the end of the chart. So this is important, especially if you're streaming. As new streaming bars come in, you want the volume profile to continually be aligned to the right of the chart. When this option is on, I'll no longer be able to drag the volume profile. If I turn this option off, I can drag the volume profile to the left, and you could see how those bars are changing to as the volume profile is recalculated for the 252 bars of data in the look back period. And the default is 252 because there are 252 trading days in a year. Anything else to talk about here for volume profile? Point of control. So this point of control here outlined in this dark blue color represents the bar that contains the most volume. So it's oftentimes used as a potential support and resistance level. We'll talk about that even a little bit further at the end of the video when we cover the volume profile indicators that we introduced. Finally, you can control the opacity of the drawing object. So there you go, the volume profile drawing object. But how can you use volume profile in your strategies? What if you want to backtest somehow with a volume profile? Well, we added a new volume profile class to our C# Wealth Lab 7 framework. If we click here, go to the quick ref, we can see volume profile and volume profile information. two new classes we added to our profile. Volume profile contains all of the logic for constructing the volume profile, and it has an items property, which is a list of volume profile item instances. So how does this work? Let's close our windows here and let's click on one of the properties. Let's say the items property to bring up the example code. I'll click on the example code button. That'll bring up a new window of that example and it will run the example. So let's take a look at the code in the example. So it creates an instance of the volume profile class, giving a 252 bar look back with 50 desired bars in the profile. And we then cycle through each item in the resulting volume profile items property and draw a line on the chart to render that item. And here's our result. We have this chart with these volume profile lines drawn. So what this means is that in your strategy, you can create volume profile instances as needed. You can rerun the volume profile at any point in time in the historical data by using the generate volume profile method of this class. So let's open up this example. So in this example, what we're doing is creating a volume profile just like before, but now we're going through a loop from 0 to 10. And we are regenerating the volume profile for each bar of the chart, starting at the rightmost bar and then counting down by 10. And for each of those volume profiles of the last 10 bars of the chart, we are rendering the point of control in blue. So I could see here in SPY, it just so happens that all of those point up to be the same value. Let's try maybe a different symbol. So here for Airbnb, we can see two blue lines. So that means that out of the most recent 10 volume profile generated, 2 of them had different points of control. So in a nutshell, the volume profile class, you can use it in your C# strategies to bring volume profile to your backtesting if desired. The last thing I want to talk about with volume profile, the last piece of support we added for WealthLab 7 are 3 indicators. So if we go to our indicators list here by clicking the indicators button and scroll down, we'll see volume profile high node and volume profile low node, upper and lower. So what these indicators do are create a volume profile on each individual bar of the chart and then assign the indicator value to the point of control for high node here and the low node upper and lower values. So what this is doing is starting at the point of control and like moving up and finding the lowest volume node above the point of control and below that is still within the high value area. So let's open up a chart, say of, I have my Kraken data set here of Kraken symbols. So let's scroll down and open a chart of Bitcoin. And let's drop these indicators onto here. So volume profile high node. So this is showing you the historical volume profile high node for this Bitcoin chart. And then the low volume node, upper and lower bands. So since these are brand new indicators, I'm not aware of other platforms having these. So the interpretation is a little bit open at this point. It bears a little bit of a requirement of some more research, I would say. But just looking at it in a cursory level, I noticed that it seems like the band offers support and resistance, and when prices break above the band, seems to indicate a decent chance of a continuation. See here, when Bitcoin broke above the upper band, there was pretty good continuation here. And then when it came back down, it found support at the upper band, and then it broke up again. Let's see, it's now trading down and finding support here at this upper band. If we scroll through the history a little bit more, we could see when it broke above this upper band here, it was quite a huge move. So these are the indicators, something new and interesting to add to your collection of research elements. Let's see if we can figure out some practical uses for these indicators. It'll be interesting to see what the Wealth Lab community can come up with these. So that's it for this video, guys. Volume profile, support added to Wealth Lab 7, build 45. Be sure to check the release notes to learn about the other 12 feature requests we were able to close with this build. And with that, take care, everyone. See you all on the forum.